Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Survivor Girl podcast. My name is Alice, aka the Survivor Girl, and today I want to welcome an extremely special guest and someone who I adore now, and that's the one and only Siavash. Siavash, how are you today?
I'm great, Alice. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you creating this platform for people like me to share their story. Thank you so much.
And thank you for coming on. You guys, Siavash is one of the most interesting, incredible, amazing people I have been blessed and fortunate to meet. And I heard his story, and I feel like you guys need to hear his amazing story as well. So, Siavash, if you're ready, let's get started.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for having me. I want to share my story. I know there are many warriors here. I met Alice at the gym, and I'm really happy to be here. So I want to start from where I was born. I was born in Iran in 1980, and 6 months after I was born, basically the war started between the two countries, Iran and Iraq, and we were part of a religious minority, and it was a mess. It was seeing people dying, seeing hundreds of people coming back from war, dead on a truck. We were in the western part of Iran, which was on a border a couple of hours away from where all the madness was happening. There was no escape from pain. My dad was sent to war. I was even for bread, food, any meat, anything, grains, anything. It was a lot of shortage. I was the oldest kid. There was four of us, so I always had to go in the morning, standing in line of bread, the fuel to just warm up our house. It was, and then people were sleeping on the streets, running away from war. It was no escape from this pain. I was around 8 years old. I saw, and the government in our area, because we were part of a religious minority, they didn't want us to rebel, so they would bring people and execute them in a public execution. I was 8 years old when I saw they executed two young men. I remember them they hanged them and they were kicking. For a couple of weeks, I didn't have any feeling just seeing those images. It was just constantly asking myself, when is my turn to die? It was no escape from pain. The war ended, so the country is broken apart, and my dad was making musical instrument, which was at the time, even music was illegal in Iran. It was because it was a hardcore republic of Islamic Republic, and all the American sport like bodybuilding, anything to the boxing, all this stuff was illegal in Iran because they considered it as American propaganda. So we were constantly moving from town to town. Around 12, 13 years old, I saw a picture of Arnold, and I was so fascinated how a man can look like that. I was fascinated with bodybuilding. As I said, bodybuilding was illegal, so I was going to black market, looking at the stuff, and that was the thing that kept me really going. That was the light that was kept me going. And at university, they didn't allow us in university because we were part of a religious minority, so I lied in my application, and I was one of the 65 kids that got into the art university in Iran, only one from my state. And I was going through the university that there was no way that I could keep up. The gap between us was the poverty was too much. It was squeezing me. So one day I'm going home after the university break, the spring break, and we were playing in the backyard with the air gun. And when I tried to shoot, my uncle said, "Hey, keep your right eye open, not the left eye." And when I was keeping my right eye open, I saw blurry. I didn't see much. And I told him, "Hey, I don't see much from my right eye." And they told me to take him to the doctor to let him check it out. And we were in a small town, very small town part at that time, the southern part of Iran. And because, as I said, my dad was constantly moving so we can sell those instruments. Then I went to a doctor and they told me, "Oh, you have to take him to capital city. We can't treat this." Then I got 2 weeks. I got sick as I was throwing up. I was really sick and I didn't know what's happening. I was in a hospital, couldn't keep any food down. So I went to capital city, which was 16, 17 hours away from where we lived. I went to capital city and my uncle lived in a bad part of the capital city. So I went to his house and he took me to this doctor that was in that part of the town. And the guy said, "This cannot be treated in Iran. This is a very rare disease in his eye and we don't have a treatment in Iran." But I said, "Nah, this guy's wrong. This is a part of it. Wrong part of the town, this doctor doesn't know anything." So my uncle and my father, they put the money together. We went to a better one, basically the more posh area of the capital city. And the doctor gave us a diagnosis. I have cancer in my right eye and there's no treatment in Iran and it will leak into my liver. And that's it. I was 18 years old and I don't want to accept this. There's impossible. My whole family crying, everyone look anywhere I go, people thinking I'm going to die. It was a really Yeah, it makes me emotional talking about it. And then my grandmother, everyone, anywhere I go, they give me good food and stuff like that. They're thinking I'm gonna die, you know. And I said to myself, no, I'm not gonna give up. And the bodybuilding stuff was an escape for me, you know. I was just like, I have to get out of it. I can't tolerate this. I didn't want to be a part of that. So I said to myself, you know what? And one of the doctor I remember told me that this, if you go to Europe, they can treat it over there. My dad we didn't have any money. It was 4 kids, and we didn't have any house. So we were just constantly moving. He gave me $100, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna leave this country. I'm gonna leave on a foot. So I left $100, and just going through hell and through these countries. I ended up in England, homeless in England. I was walking the street. I was asking all the shops around, you know, hey, I couldn't speak a word of English. I just found this sentence that was saying, you know, I'm looking for a job. So I would go to every shop. You know, I would target one street. I would go all the way up every single shop. Then I would come back at the other side, and I would ask every shop. And this pizza place told me, hey, come on and go to the back. You know, I went to the back and start washing, you know, whatever they had. And then I told the guy I don't have anywhere to sleep. And he told me, okay, you can sleep in a pizza shop. So I was sleeping in a pizza shop under the oven. I would go and pass out flyer for $10 a day. I would just go pass out flyer, and then I would work evening time. I help out they had these side orders that I would make till about 1, 2, and they would give me another $10. So I would put like a 20 pound, British pound over there in England. I went to doctor. Over there, they have kind of a healthcare stuff but they want to pull my eye out. My eye muscle was drifting to the right, and it looked a little funny, and there was a lot of question in my head. I was thinking, man, probably I'm never going to be able to get married. No girl's going to like me the way I looked. I was a young guy. It was causing me a lot of doubt, and you know, I was constantly questioning myself. But I kept bodybuilding. You know, the bodybuilding was just, I was training. That was my distraction to run away from this pain. I didn't want him to basically do that to my eye. So I told the pizza guy, you know, the owner, of him, if he can borrow me money so I can get the laser surgery done. I went to a good part of a town, and there was a private doctor, and he told me, I think it was £5,000. It was a lot of money. I had to work for years to pay this off, but I said, you know what, I'll take my chances, and I do it. The pizza owner, he gave me money to give it to, and it was like 2-3 installment payment to the doctor. I paid him, and they took me to surgery, but I lost my right eye. I blind in my right eye, and they told me 15 years. This is a timeline pretty much I have, but I never thought about it. I never, even 1 second, I would think about my cancer. So I would block it. I learned how to kind of push it aside and never think about it. I never ever talk about it to anyone, because I thought I have a very strong imagination. If I think about it or talk about it, it will cause more damage. So I would just pretty much brush it to the side, and I kept living, and I said, no, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. I'm going to be just like those American bodybuilders I saw in magazine. And even when I was sleeping in pizza shop, I was flipping the pages. I was constantly dreaming. I was telling myself, I got to be positive. I was getting lost in my dreams. So in England, unfortunately, people we were refugees, and people hated us. You know, they called us names. You know, it was really at the time, not that they were bad people. They were just, we were new to them. They never had this much of a migration to their country. We looked different. It was just, they didn't just like us. It was every day on TV. They bashing us. They send these people back, you know, and I was like, it was very heartbreaking to us, because we ran away from government of Iran, and they hated us over there. And we came here with so much hope that these people, you know, out in the West, they're going to love us. You know, they over there, things are different. And we saw, no, man, different. Now this is a different hate. So I couldn't take it. My friend, one of my friends, he had a stroke, and he got paralyzed. We had to send him back home. It was just, my spirit was constantly getting crushed. I said, you know what? I'm going to go to America, be Arnold. That's my dream. And I bought a fake passport, and the guy changed the picture on it, and it was a crooked picture on it. I was running away from pain. It was just too much. Back home, everybody was poor. I had to send money. Every penny that I made, I paid the guy. And of course, anything was extra, I would send it back home. I would just eat pizza all day long. Every day I'd eat pizza and send money back home. My sister needed money to get married. My brother, my dad, sometime he needed to move from one place to another. I would send him some money. And so I said, you know what? I got to go to America. I bought the fake passport. I went to the airport. I noticed, you know, people are radioing each other when I'm like, they know. I said, you know what? Do or die. I got to do this. So I sat in the plane. I said, it was such a scary thing. And then as soon as the airplane landed, they arrested me because I had a fake passport and my English was a little better, and they thought I'm a terrorist from Iran. So I spent 1 year in maximum security prison, blindfolded, chained my hand, chained my arm, you know, everything. They're taking me from one place to another, interviewing me 6 hours, you know, a day, 5 hours, 4 hours every day. They're taking me a CIA, Homeland Security, all kind of agency. They're grilling me to see who I am, and there was nothing. I didn't do anything. And once I wasn't even allowed to make phone calls, nothing. knowledge, no nothing. I had nobody in one room. I didn't see outside, no sky, nothing. I was just sitting in one room and looking at the wall. It was unbelievable. The pain that even to this day I think about it, how much I could handle the depression and pain to myself now that I'm out of it is surprising. And so after almost a year, I saw a judge, and they looked at my case. They gave me a lawyer. The lawyer was amazing. He was a good man, and his name was Max. I want to give him credit. He basically saved my life. He changed my life, and he fought for me. I told him we're from religious minority. This is what happened to me. I told him everything, and he really fought for me. At the court, the judge granted me asylum, and even the Homeland Security got up, shook my hand, said sorry about this, said it's all good. I did the wrong thing. I came here with a fake passport. I shouldn't have, and I broke the law, and it's okay. I understand, but I was just running away from pain. And I got on the street, homeless, and on the street of Chicago, homeless, walking around up and down. And I called one of the guy in prison. I couldn't go to doctor or anything to check on the cancer, so I just didn't have any money. So I called this guy from prison. He took me to his house. He was from Guatemala. He was released a few months earlier. He gave me his number. So I called him, and he picked me up on the street. He said, okay, he had a basement. He had a couple of kids. He had a basement. He threw a mattress in the basement. He said, stay here till we figure it out. So I stayed there. I went to a library every single day. I was researching. I was doing things, and I was looking, how can I go to doctor? And then I realized in America, it's like you got to have insurance and stuff like that. It's totally different. It was a lot of money. I couldn't go. I couldn't check on it. So I brushed it under the rug. I said, forget it. I'm not going to check on this. I just got to keep pushing forward with my life. I stayed a couple of months in Chicago. At his house. I got my Social Security, and the snows in Chicago. So I hated the snow because when I was a kid, growing up in the snow and all the war, and we were my feet always wet, standing in a line of bread, and it was reminding me of so much bad things. I run away. Sometimes they take me to clean houses with them. So I saved a couple $100. I bought a $135 ticket, I think, from train ticket, and I came to California. I wanted to be Arnold, so I jumped on a train. At the time, it was a lot of people, the homeless people in it, and I didn't understand what's going on. Everybody was coming to California because of the snow over there, and I was one of them. But I never felt like that. I never felt homeless. I felt like I'm a warrior. I'm coming here to make it happen. I got to California. I got to the Union Station. I didn't know where to go. I told the taxi driver, hey, take me to where the Persians are, so maybe I can. So he dropped me in Glendale. I couldn't even cross the street. It was everything so new to me, and I look around, couldn't find it. At the time, it was like 2008. There was all this crash happening in America. There was no job, and I'm going to every single shop that is like just like when I wanted to do the same thing that in England, but here is a store spread it out. I would walk out and no job. There is no job. So I was walking. I found this paper. It says security guard. I called the guy, and I started working as a graveyard shift at night. And then I found the place, $650 a month, and I started bodybuilding hardcore. I was just eating. I'll calculate every penny I had, and every penny I had, I would spend it. Like I would calculate how many ounces of chicken I eat a day. So I would eat just that, and that's it. I would boil it, and I eat chicken for years only because I couldn't eat beef or so. I just paid my rent, my gas to go to work, insurance. I was so precise on everything. Okay, but I couldn't check on eye cancer. So this is many years has passed by now. Obamacare happened, and then I went on a site and I looked, check, and it was I could get insurance because of my job, and everything was like $143. So I can afford that. So I paid the $143, and at this time my eyes is drifting completely to the right. It was like I looked really, really bad. I looked really weird, especially when I was looking up or something. I went to doctor. They checked on me. They injecting a lot of stuff into my arm to see all the veins and everything. They're looking at the tumor to see if it grew. I'm doing a lot of abdominal scans, because that's what they're thinking. They're going to go to my liver. But thank God, the tumor didn't grow. It's funny, but I really, it is a superstition, but I really believe that because I never really focused on it. As I said, I never ever shared this story with anyone. No one knew that I have cancer. I never told anyone. That's my theory of. So I was at UCLA, and they really do good people, and they just checking on it. So that insurance really helped me to be able to go check they wanted to check it every few months, and I was fine. Then I just started while I'm doing the security, I got fired after 12 years. This is now since I left home, it's 12 years past. So I haven't seen my family for almost 12 years, and I got my refugee passport, and I say, you know what, I'm going to go see these people. I can't go to Iran because refugee status, so I didn't want to go to Iran. I was worried about getting arrested. So I went to Turkey, the neighboring country. My whole family came. My brother grew. My sister now, kids. It was I was just seeing them. I cried so much. Everything has changed so much. So on my way back, I was thinking, and I didn't have any money in Turkey to spend or anything like that. I remember one of my friends and trainer, Mr. Peter, gave me $100 to just buy a couple of gifts for them. After 12 years, I'm going back and I have nothing, absolutely nothing, no kids, no wife, nothing, and no job, no proper job, no proper education, nothing. I didn't accomplish anything. I was so like embarrassed of myself. And on the way back on a plane, I prayed. I said, God, please do something. So I came back. As soon as I landed, I called the job to go back to my work. I lost my job. And I said, God damn it, I lost my job. And now I don't have even paying money for rent and anything. It's just like now I'm going for looking for job. I'm going every day, different security job. Everybody, that a lot of soldiers are coming back from Iraq, Afghanistan. They're looking for same security job. These guys are way more qualified than I am. They are soldiers. They're the best of the best. And they're looking for a $10, $12 job. And of course, they would offer it to them versus me. So I couldn't get a break. I had no choice but to go on employment office and ask, to be able to get some money to eat or whatever and pay rent stuff. So I went to the unemployment office and I was fired for absolutely no reason. I didn't do anything wrong. I was actually a supervisor at the place. I was such a good employee. I was always sharp, very respectful to the residents. That it was a gated community. So they found the guys at fault and they gave me the back pay for unemployment. The thing was $3,000. They sent me the checks and I got the check. I thought, oh my God, I've never seen so much money in my life. $3,000 in my hand. And I said, I got to do something with this. I went to Craigslist. I always wanted the gym that I trained at. It was like it didn't look like the gym that I saw in Iran. In Iran, when I was looking at the gyms, they were like a old school looking. The vibe was like a friendly. But the gyms that I was going here, they didn't look like that at all. Nobody was friendly. Nobody even knew you walking out. I had a few friends, of course, in the gym, but the vibe wasn't there. And I always wanted to create something. In England, when I trained, there was a gym like that. That was like a dungeon style, and everybody knew each other, and I liked it. And that was the only place that you was not judged by your race or anything. It was only by who has the biggest arm. So I wanted to create the same thing. So I look on the Craigslist and I saw a gym in Culver City. The guy said, "Oh, I'm renting it out, $1,900 and stuff like that." And I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go get that place." So I came and I saw the guys, and there was just basically a little hole in the wall. And there was nothing in there. There was a couple of dumbbells, and he called it the gym. I said, "Then where's the gym, man?" He said, "This is it." So I said, I'm gonna make this work. But at this time, I've been training so hard. I read so much because in a guard shack when I was reading 8 hours a day, reading about bodybuilding, about training. I knew so much about it. So I paid the guy $1,900, and I had a couple of dumbbells and a bar, and I put a sign on my window, and I said, "Hey, come lose weight." So people would walk in and they would come in and say, "Where's the gym?" I said, "Here it is, man. Just pay me money. If you pay me a few $100, then I train you." And at the beginning, a lot of people were laughing at me, but a couple of people took the chance, and that's what I love about America. People are curious, especially Los Angeles here. They don't judge you. They're curious of who you are. And I started training them, and I was killing them. In 30 minutes, everybody was throwing up a couple of dumbbells in the bar, and they couldn't believe it. They said, "Oh my God, you're crazy." So they bring their friend to experience it. So I would make him throw up too. So it's just, and before you know it, people would come, and I was getting results like there's no tomorrow because I was giving them diet. I had a lot of knowledge about how to, and then I was figuring out these people, how I was experimenting on a lot of them to see how things works, how emotionally, how much they can take it. So I came up with this cool system. Because I didn't have equipment, I didn't have any money, I made the session 30 minutes because I couldn't do 1 hour. First of all, they couldn't take 1 hour intensity, and the second one was I didn't have equipment, I didn't have any money, so I had to wrap it up quick. But I realized, I'm into something. These people are busy, they don't have time, and this 30 minutes is very appealing, and I just wanted to come twice a week. And they were getting results, and they were telling more people, and people in the neighborhood, they would come and they say, "Oh, Siavash, in the front, your stuff doesn't look good, you got to fix the door." And I said, "I don't know how to fix the door." "I'll do it for you." People would do the fix the door. The other one from the neighbors would fix something else. That someone would come and help with the mirror, putting the mirror up. Pretty much, I got so much help from a neighborhood, from people, me not having money, but they saw the passion in me, and I was sharing part of my story here and there, but I never talk about the cancer with anybody. I was always embarrassed to talk about me going to prison, talking about my cancer, about my life. I was always embarrassed about it, and I was always hiding it. And mostly I talk about bodybuilding, but once in a while I would share a bit of it, and people would go, "Wow, wow, they respect me more. I was like, what, these people are crazy. And I'm keep growing the gym. Then I was constantly thinking about expanding, making the gym bigger. And I was a lot of ideas. I was reading every single day. I would wake up at 5 in the morning, go to the gym 5:30 till 8 o'clock at night. I would there. Most of the time there was no clients. I was just sitting by myself. And most of these people were coming, very educated people, and they would give me tips about business, give me tips about this. Someone talking about S corp. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Someone talking about website, the credit card processing. I was like, what is these people are talking? So everybody would help a little bit. And then one client showed up to the gym. At this point, there was a next door abandoned gas station. The guy, somebody bought it, and I went and talked to him and said, can I rent it from you? And he said, yeah, sure, I'll fix it up for you. And he saw me and he liked me and what I do. So he rented to me. So I took over, and now people start seeing me. Before I was hole in the wall. So now the people can see me. And I put a couple of tires outside with a hammer. People are hammering the tire. Traffic driving by thinking, oh, what's going on over there? These people are crazy. So they would stop by. As I said, in LA, people are curious. They're not judgmental. A lot of back in England or even in Iran, people, I noticed that other countries are people very judgmental. Here, not as, especially in LA. I don't know. I can't talk for all 100, but people would walk in and they would give me the opportunity to train them. And I would do my best. I was so obsessed with it. I was doing my best. Then one guy walked into the gym and he was overweight. He was very, very soft spoken. He started giving me tips about business. And he told me, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I was like, oh, what is this guy talking about? He's not a bodybuilder. He can't give me tips. But he told me he's going to make my website. So he built my website and he gave me tips on how to start training people, not one-on-one, and start training people in classes of 3. And the name of the gym was Six Pack. So I told myself, you know what, 6 people in a class. So he started giving me tips about business and I was applying it. Before I know it, I built a machine at the gym and everything is going good. I'm all excited. Things are going good and saved a bunch of money. I want to buy a house. At the time I was with my girlfriend and I had a girlfriend and I really loved her. Unfortunately, we got into her mother died and she went back home, and I think it was a shock, and we were growing apart. I noticed it because I was growing so much. I had to grow so much with the business, and she wasn't as much. And I was an intense person. I was very intense. I can't say it was a 50-50 fault. So anyway, it broke apart. But unfortunately, out of anger, she basically took all the money that I had from the bank account, take everything I had. I couldn't do anything. And I went to a lawyer, and the lawyer said to me, it was almost $80-something thousand. And the lawyer told me, if you pursue this by chasing her, stuff like that, you'll spend a lot of money. And by then, she doesn't have the money. She's going to spend all the money. It's just a waste of time. And my mentor, Daniel, told me, you know what, forget it. Just let's move forward. So I just was extremely painful at the time. It was not only money. I was suddenly all the pain from the past, everything was like somebody ripped the bandage off of my scar, and I would come home and I just cry. At the time, I was like 250 pounds of muscle, I was like, it was embarrassing to even tell people that I'm going through this pain. I didn't, at the time, I didn't know anything about therapy or anything. I didn't believe in it. We come from culture that we didn't, especially men, we don't talk about our, it's a sign of weakness if you talk. So I was just coming home after the gym. I was writing the pain. I was writing cancer, prison, everything. I was writing this pain because it's like somebody put all my problem in a can and just was shaking it. I couldn't believe the pain that I was handling. It was just too much. But I kept pushing forward. And at gym and the people at the gym, clients, it was very helpful to my healing. And meanwhile, this eye is getting drifted and it's getting worse and worse. So I went to UCLA and they corrected my eye. They fixed, didn't want to, they said if the tumor start growing, they have to pull it and pull my eyes out. But it's not, they're not seeing the growth of the tumor. So they said they kind of corrected my eyes so I could kind of, it doesn't show that it's drifting, because when you can't see with your eyeball, it's a muscle, so it gets weaker and weaker. So that's what it doesn't go by the command of the other eye. So your brain. Meanwhile, this is happening, and I pushed it hard, and then Daniel, my mentor, helped me, gave me a little money for down payment of a house. I bought a house. The house is basically a very messed up old house, and I'm excited. Oh my God, I'm making a thing. I'm making improvement, and boom, COVID happens, and they shut down all the gyms. Everything is shut down. Now I'm from income, I'm go to $0 in one day, and oh my God, now I'm about to lose everything. I'm coming home, and my friend Daniel said, you know what, you can't do nothing, so why don't you write a book? Why don't you write your life story? Meanwhile, the gym is shut down. So I sat down in my garage at the time with my dog Rhino, and I started writing, and I was crying so much. all the stuff that I did, all the stuff that I went through. And I was always moving forward because I was running away from pain. Now I had to stop and reflect. And that reflection was so painful that I was seeing myself in the places when I was homeless, when I was like completely out of hope. Nobody was calling me. Nobody was caring about who I am, where I am, just like, I was constantly writing it. And all these, it was kind of like a healing. And I really recommend it to all the listeners here. Sometimes writing it, inking it, it takes a lot out of your heart. So I wrote it, and then I think it was June 20th, June 12th. I can't remember what the date was. And then they said, okay, the gyms are open. You can do it with masks. So I opened it right away. Some people came back. We started training, and then they shut it down again. They said, no, it can't even be indoor, only outdoor. And I'm sitting there inside the gym, and I said, God, I can't go home. If I go home, I lose everything I have. I lose the gym. I lose my house. And I'm sitting there and I'm praying. I said, pray God, give me to know something. And I looked outside in the parking lot, and boom, in 30 minutes, I came up with the idea. I have my right-hand man, a great man, Perry. I told him, Perry, let's pull the equipment out. He put the benches outside. I said, okay, put the dumbbells. We set up the dumbbell outside. I called the people that were training and say, hey, gym is open. We're training in a parking lot. And people loved it. They said, hey, you know what? You're crazy, man. We're coming. So they came down, and now we're training outside. Everything is closed. Nobody is in. The whole town is closed except us. We are outside in the parking lot, hitting a tire, and lifting weight. And people are passing by, and now they joining the gym. Now that God has blessed me with this, then now people can see me. Before nobody could see me because I don't have the money for advertising like big gyms like Equinox and Gold's Gym, LA Fitness. So now everybody shut down. Now people can see me. So my business has started growing like crazy. I doubled the business. Analytic and gas station that was like 800 square foot. I started making $1 million a year with the most successful small gym in America. No gym in America, and that is square footage, but that per square footage make as much as I do. So I start learning more about business. I realized I can't push this by myself. So I start hiring people. I learn about how to hiring, becoming a leader. So I'm in a business class and in Texas, and they say, hey, Siavash, come here, tell your story. So I got up and I said, and Daniel told me, tell him your story. Tell him what you wrote in the book. And I stood up there. I was supposed to talk for 10 minutes. My talk, just like now, it went over for like 30 minutes. I stopped. I looked around. Everybody was crying. Everyone stood up. They gave me a standing ovation, and everyone was hugging me. And I was like, what the hell? This is crazy. And Daniel told me, yes, you got to start sharing your story. So after that, my book was published last year, June 6th, called A Small Gym, Big Result. Everything that I told you here is in the book as well. And of course, it goes into the building a gym. And my goal is to inspire people to go. It doesn't matter what they go through, to just keep hopeful and just keep pushing forward. And my dream is to have this six-pack gym, the gym and six-pack gym, which Alice is one of the warriors. She shows up and putting hard work. My goal is to have this type of gym because I believe everybody come together to better themselves. It's a little gym in a neighborhood. It's a lot of fun. It's so much fun when I go there. I love everybody. I know everybody's name over there. It's just and the people that work for me, the beautiful people. It's just I feel like I built my own village here. I have family. Now I have more family here than Iran. And so many people care about me. With one phone call, I can have friends over to my house. It's just like it's such an amazing place that my dream is to have this six-pack gym all over the country in a small neighborhood, between all these towns, and that helping people. And my book, as I say, called A Small Gym, Big Results, is basically there to motivate people. At the beginning, it's my story, but then it goes to how I built this small gym and what kind of a difference it makes. And if they want to do the same, I'll teach them how to do it. So this was my story, Alice, and thank you so much for allowing me to share it here. And I know you work hard to build this platform for people like me, so I appreciate you. I hope this story was good enough for your listeners, and thank you all the listeners that spend time here to listen to this.
And thank you, Siavash. And one final question. This is a very easy one. What message would you want to convey to other people who are going through hardships and struggles and dealing with cancer and terminal illnesses? What would you want to convey to them?
I want to say, I think I believe only a strong get challenge. Mm-hmm. I believe God chooses strong people, some people that people who can handle it. And there is a message here. At the time you're going through it, you don't know. I didn't know when I was in Iran what is waiting for me, this beautiful life in here waiting for me. And so have faith that good things are coming. Don't lose your spirit. Don't know. Stay in the center. Of course, you're going to have your moment. You're going to have your doubt. Those are absolutely no. We're all human, but only strong get challenged. You were chosen. You're strong. That's why you were chosen to go through this. And there is a calling, just like yourself, Alice. I know you went through it. And if you didn't go through it, you probably wouldn't have these podcasts, probably changing thousands of people's lives through this platform. So there is a calling for every single one of us. We just got to have faith. It will come to the surface and we'll find out. And that's where we're going to push it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. You guys, this is why I wanted to share Siavash's story with you. He's an incredible, amazing human being. I'm so blessed to be a part of his gym and to have gotten to know him in the few months that I've been there. And I'm so thankful for everything he's done for me. And I hope you guys were inspired by him. And thank you guys for listening. I'll see you back here next time.